for the Buccaneers, coming off of a tough loss to the New England Patriots, 28-23, in which the team just suffered and couldn't really get a stop. And a few weeks after the Lions loss, in which offensively they couldn't move the ball. This game, defensively, they were getting used and abused by Josh Allen, letting up 44 points and 6 touchdowns. And for Todd Bowles, who's supposed to be a defensive guy, his defense will be the thing that holds the Buccaneers back from where they want to go. All right, hello, guys. Here we go. New favorite segment. I love it. We are calling it Play of the Day. And in this one, man, so this is what we're going to see, right? Now, this play today was tough because throughout this game, the Bucs defense, well, a lot of the times if you look at where they're defending, I mean, they are defending over here, right? Like, they're at the 20-yard line. In this situation, even though they're up 26-24, it's still the third quarter. And with it being the third quarter, like, the Bills had just been out there and they've been able to just score. And the reason they've been able to score is, I mean, something we don't want to talk. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But kick returning wise, it was tough. Like, a lot of the times they were starting in, I guess what you would call, they call it plus territory, right? So that's when plus, that equals when you're like, I don't know, around like the 50. So you're at the 50 going forward, right? So, for instance, like if you're on the 45 of their team, that is the case. A lot of this game was starting in plus territory for the Bills, and that makes it very tough to play defense, especially, I mean, when you got, look at this guy, these two guys, number one in rushing, and you got Josh Allen, there's your MVP, and then you got James Cook back there as well, who's just been a dog all season. But and even this pick, even this by the way, I could have done the Baker Mayfield interception, right? Like, he threw a pick leading to this. Up to, you can't really throw picks. However, I didn't choose Baker because I feel like during this game, I mean, him and Josh, put like this, right? Like, it was mano y mano. One would score, boom. Then the other would score down here, boom. And they had 32 points, and they did end up scoring again, getting a lead, and taking it over yet again. But the reason I chose this is because defensively, like, at least you've got to be able to get some semblance of a stop down here. Like, this isn't a death sentence, right? Like, if you let up field goals and not, I don't know, 6, right? That G was ugly looking, but not 6 TDs out of one guy. And I know he's a great player, but my goodness, you know, this guy can't get 6 touchdowns, and this is part of the reason. And I almost chose a screen. There's a screen earlier in the game where they essentially just came over, ran it down here, boom, 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 had perfect blocking in it. It was like a 50-yard touchdown. But I chose this one because it's a quick change situation. And to me, it just shows how obvious the play calls were from Todd Bowles. Because you look at this, all right, so we got tight man up here, right? And like, people don't respect the Bills receivers, so what you're going to see is tight man. And tight man just means that each one of these guys has a guy. So you get a guy, you get a guy, and you get this guy. Now, here's the problem with this. What they're going to do is they're going to get fancy. And Todd Bowles had a stat where I think he had 11 guys come in unblocked. And defensively, it's not like they were terrible, right? Like, they got an interception. They got 2 interceptions off of Josh Allen. When they did get the opportunity to play not in plus territory, they were able to force a pick because they would send these blitzers, and these guys Josh Allen has to identify, be able to see it, and be able to read it. Unless the offensive coordinator, we'll call it the OC in this situation, sees it. And that's what started to happen. When you make it too obvious, the offensive coordinator can then see it. And this is what we end up getting. So as we run the clip a little bit, what you're going to see is they're trying to identify a little easier what it is. So this motion, when this guy follows, this is how you know it is clear man coverage, right? If you get a motion guy and he's following, that means, all right, Now we've established, boom, and it makes all these reads a little bit easier, right? Now, all that being said, man coverage, not the worst thing in the world. That's not really the problem here. But when you send a blitzer, what you're taking is this guy is leaving the linebacker position. You have man coverage. You have one safety over the top who's kind of trying to look at everything, and it creates a little bit of confusion. And the confusion that ends up happening is who's guarding this guy, right? And who ends up guarding him is you're going to see him or maybe Levante David right here is supposed to be the man. But the way he flies back leads me to believe that's the man coverage guy. James Cook is an explosive receiver, and this is the issue. The Bills were cooking them with this all game. On the previous play, it isn't this play, right? But I just want to give you guys an example. What they did was they ran over here. It was a screen. They had blockers set up, and whoever was supposed to be in that man coverage didn't end up doing it, right? But again, in this situation, let's stay on top. You got this guy on this guy. That's where you want the man to be. Maybe it's Levante David messing it up, but normally you don't see DNs do kind of what he does. And because of this, Josh now knows it's an easy read. There's no questions. He's got, his eyes sitting out there, and he gets to just essentially, that was supposed to be an eye, but it's like reading a book out here, right? It's like reading a nice, easy book, and that book was the Tampa Bay defense. And Tampa Bay's defense was just way too easy to decipher what's going on. You have single high. This already made it obvious, but now the motion guy makes it even more obvious that it's man coverage, and this is just what you're seeing, right? And then what they do is what's really smart, and this is what kind of messes them up. That guy ends up looping back down. So now this guy, he's out the play. Man, right? So man, this safety, his eyes, I gotta be looking at what is going on over here. Why is this guy running back and then over and then up and then he's moving, right? Like, why is all this happening? That draws his attention. And just watch that relationship. I'm gonna run it back, but watch that relationship as you see it, as the defense kind of has to move with that motion personnel, right? They're trying to create their own disruption with this guy sliding from over here and blitzing you off the edge. And it worked earlier in the game, but now they have to deal with the Bills' counter to that, and that's all the disruption. As you see, this guy confused, and now this is what it leads to. Just an open touchdown. And when we run it back, what you're going to see as well, man, it doesn't get any easier. It really doesn't. It doesn't get any easier than I'm just going to look out here. My running back's going to outrun. Again, look at this guy. This is the guy supposed to be man-to-man with James Cook, one of the best running backs in the league. That's at the end. He's supposed to fly backwards and somehow stop this. And the safety, his eyes, again, he's looking over here. So it's just too easy, too naked for a defensive coordinator to give that up on that play. When your defense coordinator is the head coach, it hurts even a little bit more. And now as we run it, you can see it. And this is what I mean. That's not going to happen. You just run this guy kind of out the way. And it's not, and he's trying. He sees it, right? He actually starts looking, but that's just not right. And maybe it's Levante David right here who starts looking back. He's like, oh, that's a touchdown. And Josh Allen, my goodness. Look at how big these eyes get, bro. Look at how big they get. He's like, oh my goodness. Put a little smiley face up there. He's cheesing. Eyebrows up. He is like, I have a touchdown pass because I'm going up against one of the more obvious defenses you'll see. Unfortunate part is what made it obvious was that motion of man, and it was a tricky defense. Like, you're trying to catch him off guard. But the Bills used their running backs too much in the pass game. Ty Johnson already had a 50-yard touchdown in this game, so to give that up just can't happen. It's butt naked. Look how open he is, man. There's your safety. There's this guy. Like, look at that, man. This is just Does it get any more open in the NFL than this guy right here with just look at that, nobody in front of him and running into the end zone? Look at it again. That's 5 yards here. That's 5 yards there. Josh has a clean pocket. Your blitz didn't work. It's just too easy. And those are the type of touchdowns that the Buccaneers have been giving up this season, and that just can't happen. And to be honest, with just how the defense is being run, I don't know if we can see them as true Super Bowl contenders giving up that much free stuff and 44 points to the Bills. What is up, Bucs fans and fans of the NFL? Please check this out. Some of our other videos on the Lumia Sports Podcast. Welcome. Thank you guys for watching. Give some of the other ones a like. We have YouTube Lives where we go and we do the previews for each week. And we have the playlist as well, so check them out. We have every single team mentioned here, including your Buccaneers if you're a Bucs fan, or whatever team that they are. But yeah, we said you were a step below. We tried to tell you, man. We really tried to inform you. But check them out. Give us a sub. Give us a like. Now back to the episode. And to me, when you look at the Buccaneers, I mean, right now it's clear this is a big-time danger zone, right? Like, all right, you're 6-4. You are right now the 4 seed. That looks good. But now take a look down here. A couple of problems. The Panthers, they're now 6-5. They play them twice, and we'll get more into that. But these other wild card teams, Lions 6-4, 49ers 7-4, they are now in danger of a precipitous fall down here, depending on how these games against the Panthers go. Now, I think they're better than the Panthers. However, the Panthers are going to come in, they're going to fight, and they're going to show you something, and so that is big. Another thing that loss does, I mean, they just get further and further back from being able to climb up these NFC rankings and ladders. Now, we already know they lost to the Eagles, so that one probably chalk. That's just a lot of games to go. But even the Bears are what's going on with the NFC North. That's going to be tough because you look now, again, one more win than them. And even if we just stick with the Bears, the conference record just a little bit different. Not too much of a climb. You could still probably get to the 3, but it would be really tough to get the 1 seed, or I would even say extremely tough to get a top 2 seed right now. And I think for the Bucs, man, it almost you don't want to look at it like this, but it's kind of becoming preservation mode. Like, just get into the playoffs almost again. And unfortunately, that's kind of where they didn't want to be, just trying to own a bad division that the Panthers are trying to say, hey, maybe we're not that bad. Now, the Falcons, I mean, I still have to watch that game. Don't really know what happened. But the Panthers are your threat. You still play them twice, the only threat in the division. Now, you are 2-0 in the division right now, so that definitely helps compared to the 2-1 that the Panthers are. But albeit, I mean, just not really 100% what you want at this point of the season, especially considering, I mean, how we got here. They came out. Now these teams, right, again, not great. The best team in there would be the Texans, who are 5-5. You go out there, you survive every week against the Falcons, Texans, Jets, come from victories. We were talking Baker MVP. Life was good. You go out, you lose to an Eagles team. The Eagles are tough. That's nothing wrong with that. You beat Seattle, and that Seattle win, I mean, man, that one looked like a huge one. Still does. They're 7-3, a very good team, and a good job there to win that game, specifically how incredible Baker looked throughout the game. You beat the 49ers. Now, that's big, and I actually forgot about this, but that win over the 49ers, what that does is that does give you a tiebreaker against them if it were to come down to suddenly you being a wild card team. But on the flip side of that, right, like that loss to Detroit, that one hurts because now you don't have it if you get in that situation with Detroit, who Detroit right now 6-4 as well. And then you lose this game to the Patriots and the Bills. You essentially go out, play the AFC East, the 2 best teams over there. You lose to them twice. Not ideal. Now, it doesn't hurt you in the conference, but still, not. You got to start winning these games. They've lost 3 of their last 4. You know what I mean? Again, not great. And you don't like to see out of a bye week 2 L's. You know what I mean? Back to back. So, again, man, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if they can get better. But next week, Rams, yikes. I don't like their chances against the Rams. I'm sorry. But I would be looking at that with, definitely some concern. And if I'm a Bucs fan, a little sorry. I'm trying to draw an unsmiley face, but a little upset. But then you get the Cardinals. This is your stretch. This is your chance, right? This is your gold mine right here. Boom, boom, boom. I'd say right up until Carolina. You kind of got to win all three of these. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. You lose one, you're in trouble because, you get Miami in here too, actually. Miami's pretty – you have winnable games, but now these two games, this is what's going to decide the division and maybe the playoffs for the Buccaneers, going up against the Panthers twice. Those are your games. I'm interested to see what happens with this down the stretch, and can they at all try to bounce back against the Rams and really just stop the bleeding for a little bit. All right, guys, in our segment that we call Comment of the Week, we love to scour our comments on our previous videos of that team, so this time being the Buccaneers. We look at their previews and reviews, and we shout out the best comment. However, this time, no comments. Again, Buccaneer fans, where you at? Get in there. Let us know what you think. If you agree or disagree with my scathing review of Todd Bowles, that will continue. And just this Buccaneers team not being Super Bowl contenders right now. And when you go into it, the reason why they're not, 44 points in November just can't happen. It just can't right now. We're too close to the playoffs. There's just been, I don't know, it's getting colder. You know what I mean? Your defense just has to be better than that. And we've seen signs throughout the season that maybe the Bucs defense, maybe they were just a little banged up. Maybe they were a little hurt. Maybe, you know what I mean? Now, I will say the can't see injury, them losing their top pass rusher has been huge, or one of their top pass rushers from the edge has been huge so far this season. But I think schematically, they were just getting cooked this game. And let's see. Yeah, right now, they came into this game, I believe. That's a screenshot for this game, but they come in 22nd in points allowed, allowing 25 per game. That's not going to be good enough to like make a deep run, especially, Baker's trying, he can do all he can, but Baker, well, I think he's a top 10 quarterback. He's not Allen, Lamar, Mahomes, and even those guys, newsflash, can't do it with the 22 ranked defense in the league. Pass defense-wise, they came in 27th in stopping the pass, allowing 241 yards. And they're 10th best in run defense. They are good at stopping the run. They were able to do it again. Doesn't matter. The pass defense has been atrocious this season. With Todd Bowles, it has been a problem. I have a Buccaneer fan in one of my group chats named Miles. Shout out Miles. He said he has the freshest baldy in Tampa. Well, but he said he has a fresh baldy. That's my guy. And he says, yeah, Baker's carrying, and a lot of us don't like Todd Bowles. When you're a defensive coach and your offensive coaches keep getting turned over and the offense continues to kind of figure it out, but defensively you're 27th in yards, 22nd in points, and your claim to fame is this, again, the stat that I heard, most unblocked rushers. He's sending out people. He's trying to just all-out blitz, trying to figure it out. Maybe the defense doesn't have talent, but like schematically, they're not doing anything to help those guys out. As we saw with that play, they just kept playing man, and I was really close to making the Ty Johnson play happy because it was a screen, and it was just crucial. And it was third down. They were up 3, and they just give up a 50-yard screen right before halftime. The offense goes down and kicks a field goal, but you're still now losing heading into half, and it was just tough because here's the thing. We know that the Bills receivers haven't been great this year. They went out, they tried to trade for Waddle. They haven't loved the production that they got out of there. What cannot happen then, right? You do a good job stopping the run. Cook couldn't really get off, right? 16 rushes, 48 yards. Josh Allen getting touchdown runs, that's going to happen. Like QB runs now. Do you want to be better against those? Sure. But Josh Allen throwing that bomb when he's stepping up and back and just throwing it up. All of those were great plays. There were a lot of great plays to where I didn't even want to do the Todd Bowles thing until I saw that defense and like what they let up. And here's what can't happen. Their number one receiver, Tyrell Shavers, 4 catches, 90 yards. All right, it's Josh Allen, you know? I mean, Shavers he caught that bomb of 43 yards. He was effective. That's fine. What can't happen, James Cook and Ty Johnson combined, this is receiving wise, 5 catches, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's unacceptable because they know you're going man. They know what you're calling, and those are just scheme wins. That's not one big play. That's not a bomb. That's not impressive by Josh Allen. That's just scheme, and they just continued to attack it, and the Bucs had no answers, no recourse for it. Again, you saw Cook on a touchdown guarded by the end. Ty Johnson, just a screen he just took off for 50 yards. I mean, it was tough. Now, who the game was really tough for, which you guys might not know who this guy is, Thomas McGlinchey. That is the Buccaneers special teams coordinator. And I'm going to be honest, as much as I've been killing Todd Bowles, it's tough because they did force an interception, right? Defensively, they blitzed it, worked. You force a pick when you get them pinned at the 5. They did get another pick on a 4th and 2. It wasn't like they were completely getting ripped to shreds all game. However, the problem is he's the coach of the whole team, not just the defensive coordinator, and that special teams kick coverage was awful. Start the game off, Mecole Hardman, 61-yard return. I believe they actually held them to a field goal. No, they scored a touchdown. They scored a touchdown right there because they had the ball at the 30-yard line. And so then you're like, all right, we're not going to kick it to Hardman anymore. You know what I mean? He cooked us on that. So then you go and you try to kick it to Davis, to Ray Davis, and Davis, 4 returns, average of 40 yards per return. And remember, on these returns, they're in the landing zone, so they're not in the end zone. You're not like getting at 40 and getting back on the 30. You're probably catching it on like the 8. They started at the 50-yard line, I promise you, 4 to 5 times. Their kick coverage was awful. You wonder at some point, would they just kick it out of the back of the end zone? You know what I mean? Just at least save yourself 15 yards. And the Bills were just easily just carving up the kick coverage in a way that, to be honest, on a consistent basis, I haven't seen a team do to another team all year. I watch all the games. I've been watching them for about 6 weeks, and I think that the Bills have been building on their kick coverage. I haven't seen the Buccaneers kick coverage get cooked quite like this. Maybe they let some plays up to Seattle. I remember them playing them, but I didn't see them get just absolutely demolished. But this game, I mean, my goodness, they were getting killed. And they just kept letting them get the ball at the 50, Next thing you know, now Josh Allen, he's got to make one play, and he's in the end zone, and he kept making that play or those plays. So I would say defensively and kick coverage-wise, McGlinchey, tough game for him and Bowles. And I'd say offensively, it sucks. Baker was great. Baker was amazing. He was out there just making plays, continuing to fight with really no defense. And they knew what to attack. They attacked that run defense. Sean Tucker was amazing. I mean, he went out there 100 yards. I was mad actually watching post game with a couple people I watched. I watched Colin Cowherd, and he was saying he didn't know who Sean Tucker was. I know exactly who Sean Tucker is. I saw him a couple years ago go off in this situation. They rarely use him, but when they do, he's going crazy. He's like, so Rashad is the backup, the safe backup. Sean Tucker is actually the backup Bucky Irvin. A couple years ago, I believe he had 2 rushing touchdowns and big runs. He's more explosive than Rashad White, and they thought this was the game for him. He was really good. As a team, they ran for 200 yards. Offensively, Baker did have a bad interception. You can't have that pick up too, but it was all on them to just keep scoring because the defense couldn't do anything, and the kick coverage, they would go down and score. Next thing you know, the defense backs against the wall. Suddenly, they get no momentum. They're trying to guard their own end zone at the 50-yard line. So you wonder if they can clean up those things. But I mean, this defense, I don't think they're good enough to make that run. And as good as Baker can play, I mean, it's tough. What you're asking them to do is just tough for any quarterback, and most of them, even if hypothetically they can do it and maybe like win an award or something, like Lamar and Josh in years past haven't been able to do what the Bucs would be asking Baker to do in making a deep playoff run. I just don't think they have enough right now, and they play the Rams coming up. So we'll see what happens against them and the Rams. I don't have high hopes for this team anymore. I just think that they're clearly flawed on both ends, but mainly their defense just they get turnovers, but they don't get stops. They don't get pressure on the quarterback, and they can't stop the pass, and that will be a problem, in my opinion, against the Rams and going forward, as they honestly just try to stay in playoff contention. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please watch some of the other videos on the site. I've created a playlist with each and every football team, and every week we will be going over those games. I'm really loving this, enjoying it, and hoping you guys are as well. Of course, like, subscribe, and if anyone wants to sponsor, we're looking for Lumia Sports Productions is looking for sponsors. Shout us out. We will shout you out during the video. Thank you guys again for watching. Have a great day. Enjoy.